instructors, Adaptive Chair Yoga. You can see that I have my feet up on blocks. Whatever, you want to make sure you're grounded wherever you are. So whatever is touching, just make sure that nothing's hanging out. So I have a little bit, I'm only 5 feet tall, so a lot of furniture is too big for me. So I just have that to ground myself to start out. And then once we start to move a little bit more, we get to the edge of the chair, then I'll move them back. But I always want to remind you that things like blankets or towels or even a cushion. So for example, if we're doing forward folds and this isn't available or comfortable to you today, or your back hurts, you can always take something like a pillow or a cushion, and then you can just lean on it, and it's so much more comfortable then. So you want to make sure that you're always comfortable, and you can have things to support you like a towel, a blanket, a cushion, a pillow, any of those kind of things. And if you're ever not sure how to modify, you can unmute yourself or let me know, or put something in the chat box to Monica. That's another option. And we can make sure that either for this time or next time you would be more comfortable. All right, so let's let our backs lean back against whatever you're sitting on, whether it's a chair. I think everyone's in a chair today. Sometimes people can be on sofas or anything like that. But if you've got it back, lean back into it. So that'll take some of the weight off of, some of the work off of your spine just for a moment. And you'll bring your hands onto your thighs with the palms down. Now there are different gestures with your hands, and they're called mudras in yoga. And I like to think of them almost like TV antennas, that they alter or change the energy. So, some of them are more common, but like we even have things that are in English, like when we say, okay, that is actually a mudra in yoga. It actually means something different. But anyway, so this is a mudra, putting your hands on your thighs like this. And it translates to mean calm, abiding mudra. So when you gently press on your thighs, you'll notice your spine gets a little taller. Your belly might come back in towards the spine a little bit. And you can relax your shoulders and let them down. Now close your eyes for just a minute. Or if you prefer to look down, then soften your gaze. And just begin to feel the architecture from inside your body. Can you feel where your bones stack up, where your joints are on top of each other, where your shoulders might line up with your hips, where the back of your head is level with your shoulder blades, and your spine is stacked up through the center of your torso. Just finding all of those symmetries, that balance. The reason we look for that balance and that posture is because it's the least amount of work. So if you're like all asymmetrical and leaning and things like that, all your muscles have to work. And the moment you come back to center and lift up and gently elongate, then your muscles can relax. So that's why we're doing it. We're going for that place where it feels like there's no work. Like the atmosphere around you and the furniture is holding you up, that your breath is holding you up rather than your body working. So now with your eyes either closed or looking down, just begin to feel more, not less. So invite lots of sensation and awareness of the sensation. So think of your breath now almost like a little magic carpet ride inside your body. Just start to breathe and move through. So we can start by breathing into our left shoulder. Imagine there's a balloon there. And on an inhale, inflate that left shoulder gently, not with effort or strain, but just a slow, curious breath. And feel that left shoulder lift up and get a little lighter. Now when you exhale, feel that shoulder soften and relax. So if your shoulder is working, tell it doesn't need to. Your shoulder can relax now. And if the shoulder is relaxed, then the arm can be soft, the hands can let go. Sometimes we hold tension in different parts of our body, like the forearms or the hands. And so now with your inner awareness, you're traveling inside that arm, the hand, the fingers, and telling it can let go. Pause for just a moment and feel that sensation in the left arm. And then travel in your mind's eye over to the right shoulder. Imagine there's a balloon there. And slowly, gently inflate the balloon inside your shoulder joint. Feel that shoulder joint expand and maybe even feel a little lighter, a little bigger. And as you exhale, let the whole shoulder relax. So that space between your shoulder blades is soft in the back body. And then the right arm, the right forearm, the right wrist, and the right hand are all allowed to relax. Imagine they're just absorbing gravity. They just become a little heavy in a good way, heavy and relaxed. And they're just, feel the weight of your hands and your arms on your legs. Now, slowly bring your hands to your belly if that's comfortable. If that's not comfortable, keep your arms where they are. But if it's comfortable, to have your fingers spread wide and your hands just holding your belly like it's a basket. And begin to notice your breath. So associate inhales with expansion. So when you inhale, probably your belly will expand. Now you're not breathing into your belly, obviously. You're breathing into your lungs. But when the lungs get really full and they push the diaphragm down, they displace the contents of your abdomen. So that's why it seems like your belly is expanding. It's called belly breath. Technically, that's not correct. You're not breathing into your belly, but we'll call it belly breath because our focus is on our belly, not the stomach. The stomach is up here under your ribs. This is the belly. So all the different organs. So on an inhale, feeling the belly slowly expand gently. And then notice on the exhale, with no effort on your part whatsoever, the belly gently moves back towards the spine. So now just connect your awareness, your focus on the subtle movements of your belly. On an inhale, gently expanding. And on an exhale, gently receding away, moving towards the spine. Now, if we take these associations a little further, on an inhale, think about expansion. Think about it energetically as well as filling the lungs, but never with strain, never doing it fast, always slow and steady with a flow. And when you exhale now, think about extension. Think about getting taller on the exhales as you draw the belly back in. So exhales are about releasing and letting go, but let's add this other feature. I read a quote by an ancient yogi that said, exhales take you to 12 fingers above the head, above the crown of the head. So think about your exhales being that large and pushing that stale energy out of the body as we exhale. So inhales are about expansion. Exhales are about extension and release. Now quietly to yourself, see if you can count your breath. I'm going to ask you to have a ratio of 2 to 3. So the inhale, count to 2, and the exhale, count to 3. When we have exhales a little longer than the inhales, that calms the nervous system, but only if you're breathing in a way that's comfortable to you. So never be overly ambitious or strained. Your body will tell you exactly how much it wants to inhale and how much it has to exhale. So just bring that awareness, that perception down, and listen to your body, and it will tell you how much room there is to breathe. So I'll count once, but I want you to count to yourself so that it's your own count and your own pace, because your breath is yours. But if I were doing it, I would inhale for 1 and 2, and exhale for 1, 2, and 3. And 1 and 2. So about that pattern. And so maybe you're counting 1 to 2, maybe it's 2 to 3, maybe it's 3 to 5. So just find your comfortable breathing pattern right now where all of your focus is simply on following the inhale the whole way through the nostrils, down the back, feeling that stroking the back of the mouth, feeling the lungs fill, and then exhaling, feeling the lungs empty, that air stroking up the back of the mouth, soft palate, through the nasal passages and out. So follow your inhales the whole way in. And follow your exhales the whole way out. And let your mind become fascinated with this process of breathing. Maybe imagine that you're an alien, that you've just been imported or beamed into this body and you don't even know what it is. So you're just really curious and paying attention. And as you do, you notice there's this pattern of something getting lighter and brighter and bigger, and then something getting small, sort of deflating and softer and sinking down a little. And you notice that there's these two parts, and you're just really curious about what's happening and where that's going. So just staying attuned to the expansion on your inhale, to the softening but the extension on the exhale. One more breath here. And then if your eyes are closed, gently flutter your eyes open. I'm going to come to the edge of the chair so I can move around a little bit. We're going to move our spine. So if you can, you want to have some room behind you so you're not leaning back against the chair. So we'll start with our feet hip distance, and our hands will be on the thighs. On an inhale, press down a little bit to rise up to get that long spine and feel the belly move back a little to support the low back. The next time you exhale, we'll start small. Just lean to the right, bring your right shoulder towards your right knee, and then glide over to the center. And then with curiosity and just awareness, bring it to the left. And then maybe gently look up as you take it back. You're leaning back just a little, and then bringing it around again. And then find the pace. You're looking for a smooth, continuous movement. That's what your nervous system likes. Flowing, smooth, continuous movements without strain. So maybe your circles get a little bigger. Maybe they're a little faster. Maybe they're a little slower. So get curious about your sensations today. They may be different than they were yesterday. And you're just transferring your weight from one hip to the next, from the front and the back. So getting that circular pattern, finding your hip circle. And the next time you finish this, then come back to center and pause. Want to make sure that no one gets dizzy. Sometimes with blood flow can make people a little dizzy when they move like that. And you want to find that long spine again. Now, opposite direction, go to the left and start small. But put your awareness in your hips, rocking your hips, transferring the weight side to side, and then begin to notice the movements of your shoulder and spine. If you'd like to make those a little bigger, feel free. So small or big, fast or slow, find what suits you. And if there's any place where it's tough, like the body doesn't want to go there, stay there and move back and forth a little bit from it, and then continue on your journey. So you're orbiting around your hips with your torso, and then come back to center. All right, now put your hands back on your belly like we were doing before, and now we're going to include some movement. So the pattern today will be doing simple movements, adding the breath, and then making the movements a little bit more complicated to make sure that we keep our breath in our body. All right, so hands are on your belly. When you're ready to inhale, just keep your elbows soft and bent, and just take your arms to any degree out to the side. So shoulders are relaxed, arms are easy, and then when you exhale, bring your hands back in slow motion to your belly and even press in a little bit to help you learn to pull the navel in gently on an exhale. Let's try that a few times. So inhaling and exhaling. So we're slowing the breath down a little bit, stretching it out, taking our time with it. If my count is ever too slow or too fast for you, add more breath as you need. Now let's try and take the arms up a little bit higher. So inhale and maybe bring them to the middle of the ribs up a little bit. Let the hands drift back a little, and you'll feel that sensation between your shoulder blades, the shoulder blades coming together, which opens up the chest so you can breathe a little better. So lingering here for a moment, letting the hands and the elbows press back. The next time you exhale, gently bringing your hands to your belly. Let's try that again. So inhale, so you're just greeting the entire world, letting the hands go back. And this time, if it feels okay, gently take your chin up just a little bit. The next time you exhale, hands come to the belly and drop the chin just a little bit. Let your upper back round. Let's try that again. Inhale, embracing the world, reaching, opening our heart, looking up. And exhaling, hands to the belly, softening the back, lowering the chin. Now this time, on the inhale, we'll take our arms up a little higher. Let's take them into a Y shape. And the elbows can be easy. The hands can be on the shoulders if that's more comfortable or available to you, whatever works. I'll just giving a guide. So when your arms are in a Y, pause here and notice that that place between your shoulder blades can soften, can release. This is like the perfect place to release shoulder tension. Is our arms up in a Y like that. Let the hands drift back a little bit. Feel that activation of the shoulder blades. And then exhale and bring the hands to the belly. You might feel a little resonance of a little vibration of having the shoulders up like that. Let's try it one more time. So inhale up, gently look up, reach, lengthen through your spine, and then exhale, hands to the belly, and draw the chin in. And then come back to neutral, hands on your lap. Now, the language of yoga is Sanskrit, which is an ancient language, and it's a tonal language. So it means there's a lot of different sounds, and maybe it's mythology, but the idea is that every sound in Sanskrit correlates to one of your spinal vertebrae and makes it vibrate. So it awakens your entire spine, which is where in yoga mythology the consciousness is, and it rises. So the SH sound, if you think about it almost like you were trying to put a little cranky baby to sleep, just soft little calming sound. Well, in Sanskrit, that's also calming, and that sound actually calms your nervous system. And sometimes in yoga classes, you'll complete them with Shanti, which means peace, or Shavasana, which is the final rest. And so that SH sound is very calming to your nervous system. So now we're going to try the arm movements, but we're going to add the sh on the exhale. You'll feel your navel move back and engage a little bit. It'll help you move a little more slowly and see how it feels for you. All right? So hands on our belly. And when you're ready, take an inhale out. Keep the arms low this first time. Let the hands drift back. A little squeeze on the shoulder blades. Now, turn your palms down and exhale. So it also lets you have a very long exhale when you vocalize like that. So that whole journey back with your hands in slow motion. And you might feel a little shift in your nervous system already. So let's try that a few times. So inhale, let the arms be just a little bit higher. Let the hands drift back as you open up the chest in the inhale. And when you exhale, take a breath before we do the next one. Inhale through the nose. You can always sigh out the mouth, like you're letting go of everything. Let's do this again. So inhale, take the arms up closer to your shoulder height now. Let the arms be as broad as is comfortable and let them drift back, activating the shoulders. And turn the palms down in a big slow sweep. For some reason, I just had an image of the moon landing when it has to sort of slow down the rockets and very slowly go down in that low gravitational field. So if that's helpful for your hands, let's do it one more time, taking the arms into the Y shape, if that's available today. So we'll inhale, bring the arms up or maybe into that Y shape. Try and soften at the back of the heart. And when you're ready, long shushing sound. And pause. Maybe close the eyes or look down at the floor and soften the gaze. And just feel if there's a little shift inside. Is there more room to breathe inside? Do your shoulders feel different? Does your back feel different? So these are small questions, but it's the idea of bringing your awareness down so you can feel more, not less. All right, let's take this into some bigger movements now. So let's start with the left arm. We're going to make a figure eight with well, actually, let's do the hands first. We'll do both hands. Sorry. My mind is going over a bunch of things. All right, so we take our hands and make soft fists. And you can keep your hands anywhere that it's comfortable, up, down. I'm just going to make big circles. Imagine you're drawing with the knuckle of your index finger. Keep your forearms fairly still. And try and get that full range of motion with the wrists. And then reverse it, other direction. And now open your hands so your fingers are wide and see what it's like now to rotate your hands. They have to sort of flutter and change as the wrists move. But moving them through the air, almost like you're swimming or you're stirring the water in a bath to mix the hot and cold water together. Just stirring that in. Pause for a moment and then reverse. Other direction. Notice if one side is a little easier than the other, or one direction. Splashing that water. Okay. Now let's move the hands, the wrists, and the elbows. So we can make soft fists again, and now moving the whole way from the elbows. So our forearms are starting to make these circles now. And maybe they're crisscrossing in front of you. If they are, just notice which hand goes in front and see if you can alternate that each time. Little brain teaser, and then back the other way. And now we're going to add the whole arm. So the whole shoulder, you can keep your elbows bent, but now make circles. So you're drawing with your shoulders and your elbows. Sort of like we're swimming again. And then let's reverse it, other direction. So now it's like we're swimming in reverse now, pushing the water away from us and bringing it in. And then let's bring our hands to our shoulders. And this is the swimming metaphor one more place. So this takes the weight. When you're out here, there's a lot of weight. So when we're in here, our shoulders can move a little bit better. So let's alternate the shoulders. So we'll take the left shoulder up and back, and then the right shoulder up and back and forth. You might be able to move them in rhythm to each other. Trying to get the largest elbow circle that you can. If you had a paintbrush on the end of your elbows, you're drawing a great big circle on the side wall. Just beginning to feel the spine move a little bit, maybe the torso twist a little bit. You might feel it in the middle back. And then come back and pause. In fact, interlace your fingers, if that's available to you. Turn your palms out, just place them on the top of your head. And that means your shoulders can completely relax. If it's not comfortable for you to have your hands this way, any way that feels okay to you, or we're just trying to get the shoulders to soften a little bit before we move them in the other direction. But notice how tall your spine is when you have a little bit of weight on top of your head to push up. All right, let's bring our hands back to our shoulders again. And this time we'll do the front stroke, like a crawl. So that right arm will make a big circle, come forward, and then the left. And then back and forth. So one is forward and one is back. You might notice a little bit more movement in the torso if that's available to you. And just really loosening up the shoulders. So not introducing any strain. Telling your nervous system this is the easiest thing you've ever done. Feel weightless. Just moving through the water. All right. And then come on back. Pause here for a moment with your hands on your thighs, and I'm hoping that you're feeling some activation of your shoulders, some awareness, maybe more sensation. So now the big motion that I wanted to do before I felt like, oh, we should warm everything up, Let's do some figure eights. So the arm can be straight, bent, small. Again, adapt this to what is available to you. So I'll demo this. I'm going to make an H shape. So like infinity, I'm going to swoop and then swoop. All right, so just open up the shoulder, make figure eights with your arm and see what's available to you. Swinging them forward and back. All right, and then bring that arm down and pause. And that's a lot of work in that shoulder, so I think hopefully you really feel that. And then we'll do the other arm. So again, figure eight. All right, I know I did this in other classes, somebody said, I could do this all day. It's like, it's just really freeing of your shoulders. So we'll take the other arm, and you'll bring it out to the side, swoop down through the middle, and bring it back up. All right, so there's your sideways figure eight. And just play with this, have fun. Again, if it feels better to have it small or the elbow bent, or keep it really close to you, just see what works for you. Make it your own, right? I'm just a guide suggesting these things. But when we do really big gestures like this, it'll also help you breathe more deeply. We're opening up our rib cage. And then come on back. And then let both shoulders sort of settle down a little bit. Now, we've activated the rib cage here, and there's a lot of different ways to breathe. There's hundreds of ways to breathe. And some of them are more conducive to being very relaxed. Some are better when you're active. If you're picking up something heavy, there's a way that you lift versus carrying something light. So now let's try and move the rib cage. So I'm going to put my hands, and I invite you to do the same. Put your hands right on the side of your rib cage and press in so you can feel the ribs. Now you have muscles in between your ribs. They're called intercostals, and they're your secondary respiratory muscles. You don't use them when you're just not moving very much, but when your body requires more oxygen, you tend to use them. So the next time you inhale, can you make the sensation be to push the ribs? To push the hands away from each other by inhaling and expanding your rib cage. Taking the ribs out to the side. And then on the exhale, you can even gently press with your hands. Your ribs will come back in towards the center. You can think of them almost like a bucket handle. On the inhale, they pivot and lift up and out. And on the exhale, they pivot down and in. So when we start to use our rib muscles, our intercostals, we can breathe more deeply for longer periods of time. So the arm stuff that we just did, the figure eight, your rib cage hopefully will feel a little bit more available, a little bit more pliable. So let's start with our hands over our heart. Just one hand over the heart and the other hand on top of it. Okay? And now, like we did before with the breathing, we're going to try and expand the ribs at the same time. And if it doesn't feel available to you, then just breathe in a way that is comfortable for you. Right? But so when you are, inhale, the elbows can be soft, and just take the arms out wide, closer to the shoulder height, and look up. And then when you exhale, bring the arms down, one hand over the other, over the heart, and gently lower the head. Let's try that again. Inhale, like you're accepting the whole world and embracing it, lifting up, looking up, lifting the ribs. And then exhale, see if you can feel the ribs drawing back in towards the center as you lower your head and bring your hands back to your heart. Let's do one more. Inhale, arms wide, looking up, long, long inhale. And then exhale, draw the ribs back in and hands over the heart. Bring your hands onto your lap. And so we've been doing on an inhale, looking up, and you get a little back bend. And on the exhale, drawing the chin down and round a little bit. So this is called cat-cow, that little back bend and that arch. So I'll turn sideways, so for those of you that can see me, just so you can see what a little bit back bend looks like. But we're sitting, hands are on your thighs, gently press down on your thighs to get tall. So you're starting with a flat back and your shoulders are relaxed. So notice if there's tension in your shoulders and release them. Now, when you inhale, think about rolling forward towards your pubic bone, deepening the lumbar curve, lifting the lowest ribs, then lifting the heart, then lifting the chin to the ceiling, and pausing here so you get a little back bend. The first one doesn't have to be that deep. On me, it never is. It takes a little while to warm up the spine. And then exhale, tip your pelvis back, like if you had a tail that would be between your legs. Hollow your belly out, round your upper back, and bring your chin to your collarbone. Now inhale, slide your hands towards your hips, bend your elbows, point the elbows back as you roll the pelvis forward and arc the back and lift the chin up. You'll always want to feel comfortable in your back bends. You want them to feel luscious. So if you feel compression, make them less deep or engage your abdominals more or lift up a little bit more. And then exhale, slide your hands towards your knees, round your back, and drop your chin. Let's try that one more time. Inhale, expand the chest, draw the elbows back and look up. And exhale, hands to the knees, round the back, chin down. And then inhale and come back to neutral. Now, the inhale associates with a little back bend and the exhale with a little rounding. So now we're going to take it a little bit further with the arms. So bring your hands by your sides, right? And have your hands forward if that's comfortable, kind of like a little stop sign, right? On an inhale, make soft fists and draw the elbows back and find that little back bend. So the heart is moving forward. And if you have a tail, you're sticking your tail backwards right now. Right? That's an inhale. When you go to exhale, hands come forward like you're saying stop and take the arms forward and make that shush sound. So shh, you're pushing something away. Find your fists. On an inhale, draw the elbows back, squeeze the shoulder blades. You can look up a little bit. And exhaling, push the arms straight and round the back. Let's try that 2 more times. Inhaling, little arc in the back, soft fists, and exhaling. And one more time. Inhaling. And exhaling. And then release the hands and take just a little moment here. All right. So let's do a little bit of side to side stuff. That also helps us when we're breathing. So let's do just a few circles again from the hips, just a few little ones, just to remind us of what it's like to move from the hip joints. Say we'll do 2 circles in one direction, and then you'll come back in the other direction 2 times. So what we're looking for is to try and find mobility everywhere that we can. So now come back. And let's see, we'll call these heart circles or even rib or diaphragm circles. So we want to be able to move now from right in the middle of our chest. So I'll put my hand on the rib and push my rib out to the left, and then bring my ribs forward, over to the right and back. So now it's like we're doing the hula hoop, or you're taking that cat motion and moving your spine a little bit more. All right. So if you're inside of a big barrel, you want your rib cage to touch every side of that barrel. All right. So a little bit more movement through the mid-torso. And then come back, and let's reverse that. And notice any place that feels a little stiff. Take your time through it, or make this your own if this doesn't feel like the right thing for your body. And then come on back. All right. Now, Take your right hand and hold on to the seat, the chair, the arm, wherever you are. This is a little thing for the neck before we move on. Just lean to the left and then let your left ear come towards the left shoulder. So this can be really extreme depending upon what's going on with your neck. So be gentle and just lean enough that the sensation between your right ear and the head of your right shoulder, it's like a ski slope in there, that it's the right amount of stimulation for you. So it's not painful, but you do feel something. So think about lowering that right shoulder blade down to increase that distance. And now let's just explore. So we have the left ear towards the left shoulder. What does it look like, or feel like, excuse me, if you rotate your chin down to the tip of your left collarbone? So now you're looking down at the floor. And then try moving back and forth between that a little bit. Look up at the ceiling. So head is up, and then exhale as head rotates down. Just try that a few times and notice if there's a place where there's a lot of sensation, and if you want to stay there and explore it a little bit or change how you're holding your head, find what works for you and just hang out. Let's do a cleansing breath. So we'll inhale through the nose and a long, slow exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. And when we sigh like that, it helps us release tension. All right, and then gently bring yourself back to center. Both hands on your thighs again and just pause. This is what we call interoception, feeling from the inside out. What does the right side of your neck and shoulder feel like compared to the left? Let's bring our left hand onto the chair. Make sure you get tall first, so you lift up, and then very gently just lean away, right ear towards right shoulder to any degree. It might be a small movement. Sometimes not a lot going on the side of our neck. We hold a lot of tension here. But just kind of leaning, relaxing into it. Breathing, so notice your rib cage expanding on the inhale. And the belly gently drawing back on the exhale. Now turn and bring your chin towards the tip of your right collarbone. So the head is pointed down. And then if it feels all right, see what it feels like to rotate the head and take the face towards the ceiling. And maybe in slow motion back and forth a few times like that. Or if that doesn't feel good, you can see what it's like to shake your head a little yes, just a little bit up and down here, or even a little circle with your chin. So find what helps release any tension you might be storing in your neck. And then we'll pause here for a breath, inhaling through the nose and sighing out your exhale. And then gently bring yourself back up. Now we'll do one last thing for the neck here. Let's bring the right hand to the small of your back with the palm turned out. All right, so the back of your hand is against the small of your back. Take your head and look to the left. So your head is in the opposite direction. You can really lower that right shoulder blade. Now bring your head back to center. Release that right arm. Turn the palm up like you're holding a bowl of water back behind you and look over your right shoulder like you want to be able to see your hand. So head is going towards the hand and you're leaning into that. You might feel a lot of different stuff being stretched here in different places. And then the next time you inhale, bring the hand to the small of the back and look to the left again. Do that twice more with your breath. Inhale, take the right arm back, palm up, and look over the shoulder. And last time, hand to the small of the back, look to the left, and then exhale, inhale yourself, release that right arm and turn, little twist, looking over the right shoulder. And then bring it back. So we do these little movements back and forth in a little pattern like that. It helps you breathe, and it also is very soothing to the nervous system. All right, so left hand goes to the small of the back. And notice you can really roll the shoulder back and down when you do that, and the heart moves forward. So now we'll look to the right. When you inhale, release that left arm, turn the palm up and reach back behind you and turn, head faces the hand. Feel that twist through the spine. Reach long with that arm, and then bring the hand to the small of the back and look to the right. Inhale, release that hand and turn, find the twist, and we'll go back behind you. And one more time like this, hand to the small of the back, look to the right. Big breath as you sweep that left hand back behind you and looking over the left shoulder. And then inhale and come back. All right, let's finish with a little, I'm going to take my glasses off here. Finish with a little sort of stimulation through the whole body right now. So take your hands together and begin to rub them together to get some heat. It takes a little while to get some heat, but let's really take a moment here to do this. So pressing the hands, a little friction back and forth. Make sure you get your fingertips. And then place your hands over your face with the fingertips just over your eyelids. So you're softening your eyelids and you're letting the warmth of your hands relax your face. Your breathing is deep and slow, and you're letting your nervous system keep that sense of calmness. Now take your fingertips and begin to draw little circles over your forehead. So you're massaging your forehead. You can also do up and down strokes between the eyebrows and the hairline, starting from the center and moving out to the sides, and then coming back again. Feel as though you're just wiping away all any kind of distractions or thoughts. And when you come out to the side, you'll feel the bones around the orbit of your eyes. So just use your hands and trace that outer crescent shape, that little C up and down on the outside of the eyes. And then drag the skin down across your cheeks to your jaw. And then use your index finger and thumb and make a little pinching all along the jawline, drawing your jaw. And then smooth it back up from the center, back up to the jaw. And then do it again. Little tiny walking your fingers down, pinching along the jawline, and then smooth it back up. Take the sides of your index fingers, so make your hands kind of like blades, and slide between the space between your eyebrows, it's called the third eye, down the bridge of your nose, and then along the outside of your lips, and just up and down like an upside down V, just stimulating that whole area there. And then bring your hands up into your head and give yourself a little shampoo, little circles or strokes all around your scalp. Come on down to the base of the skull, and then place your fingers and drag them along the sides of your neck diagonally and come down to your collarbones and stretch the skin over your collarbones a little bit. And then just take your hands and a little bit on your belly, go out to the sides of your hips, along the outside of your legs, come up the inside of your legs, up the front of your belly, and then come up to your chest, and the last thing we do, make little fists and do a Tarzan. So take a big inhale. And then bring your hands to your lap. And just take a beautiful deep inhale here. And sigh out and exhale. Pause for a moment. Maybe your face feels a little more stimulated, your scalp. Maybe you feel a little more alert, feeling that resonance of pounding your chest, breathing deeply. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. And since I introduced the shush sound, we'll say to each other, Shanti, 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 which means peace, peace, peace. The light within me sees and honors the light within each of you. The traditional term in Sanskrit is namaste, which means the light within me sees and honors the light within each of you. Namaste.